It's a difficult game for England to get through, and but the importance of this game this will give the players, the coaches, the manager, and now the fans as well. This will give them the belief that we can go all the way and win this tournament. And we've heard other countries, the media in other countries saying that England haven't been great. But what this has shown, that we've got a team there who are capable of winning this World Cup, who are capable of getting through difficult situations, and the belief this will give to them players is going to be huge.
Well, Tuchel said, didn't he, as you go deeper into the tournament, you'll see the real England, and that's, I think, what we saw tonight. In terms of Mexico, the way they set up tactically, there was always going to be space for England to run in, and they had to capitalise on that, and they really did. We don't want to go overboard, but they really should be proud of that performance tonight. They really should.
But the big players tonight, I know, listen, the whole team were excellent, I thought, in different ways in terms of having to dig in, defend, but when you need these big players, Jordan, you'd think of the spine of the team. Jordan Pickford, I thought the two centre-backs were really good tonight. Declan Rice in the middle of the pitch, I thought was excellent. And then Bellingham and Kane. They really turned up tonight, and we need that in the rest of the games.
Let's get back into the Azteca then. It is a scene of some iconic moments over the decades since it first opened. Alan Shearer, was this one such moment for England?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every single player, the players he brought onto the pitch were absolutely outstanding, fighting for their country in what is such a tough atmosphere and an iconic ground. And down to 10 men, wow, I just thought every single one of them was superb.
What was it that particularly impressed you? Was it about the different ways or the different problems that they had to solve throughout that game and the way they dealt with it? Was it about their resilience? What was it?
Everything. I thought everything was just superb. I just thought from the off, the way they tried to manage the game, their energy, the way they took the game to Mexico, as I said, in really difficult circumstances, and then to get the goals, and then to be hurt so soon afterwards, going into half time with that goal to make it 2-1. And then I thought the start to the second half was really positive, but then they get the red card and the penalty, and it's like, oh, what's going against us again? But I just thought the way they stuck together and their attitude, and the manager's substitutions to go 3 at the back or 5 at the back and defend as the way they did. And Pickford, who had a brilliant game, I was critical of him in the DR Congo game, but I thought his 2 or 3 saves today, and also when he was coming out and taking the pressure off his defenders as much as he could, I just thought every single one of them were superb.
Wayne was saying that this is the kind of result and performance that can give England fans belief, England players belief, the whole England setup belief. Do you think that's how they celebrated, and do you have belief?
Yeah, I do. We've been waiting for them, because I think they've probably only had, before today's game, that one good half against Croatia in the second half, and they've had their moments and pieces of brilliance from Harry and from Jude Bellingham. But I think the performance tonight was pretty much perfect. I thought that the questions that they were asked, and there's been so much talk about the altitude and everything else that the players had to deal with, and they've dealt with that, and they've dealt with other knockbacks as well. But this was a standout performance. This is a performance that can carry them forward and can give them belief in the hope that they can achieve something in this competition.
And Norway next, Alan?
Yes, and Norway next, yeah, absolutely. We caught bits of that game when we're on the way to the stadium today, and that big man up front again, didn't he? He's causing havoc, he's scoring goals, and it looks as if it'll be a shootout between Kane and Haaland.
Alan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the evening at the Azteca. We're into the early hours of the morning here. Everybody who's stayed up to watch this game, who wanted England to win it, will be delighted with what they've seen, delighted with the result that England have. It is Norway up next for England. We will start to look ahead a little bit more. But England made their life very difficult at the start of that second half when they went down to 10 men. And so often there is a scapegoat when England exit tournaments. And this time around, it felt like it might be Jarell Quansah.
Yeah, and listen, I've been in the situation he's been in, and it's not easy. It's not an easy situation for him. It is a red card, it's reckless, and it's high, so it's a red card. But I feel for him, because knowing what he's going through in that dressing room as the game's going on, it's such a horrible feeling. And you think luckily for me, we went out, but he hopefully has got another chance in this World Cup. But yeah, it's not a nice feeling, and thankfully his teammates have helped him get through that sticky situation for him.
We're going to hear now from Harry Kane. He's with Kelly Summers.
Well, Harry, huge congratulations. What a contest, what a win. But I just firstly wanted to ask you what's happened over there by the England goal, because there looks to be some concern.
Yeah, Jordan, my voice is gone. Hendo just fell over there. I think he's okay, just something to do with his arm.
OK, well, as for the performance, I think it says it all, the fact that your voice has gone. That was some contest to watch. What on earth was it like to play in?
Yeah, it was a crazy game. We had to fight. We had to find something. Yeah, I've just been sitting there. I can't really talk, but yeah, all the occasion, the team, everything against us, we found a way.
I was going to say, is that what pleases you the most, the resilience today? Because even your penalty, a word on that as well, not the one you scored, the one you conceded. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I thought I got to the ball first. It was one of those days that the ref gave a lot against us. And in the end, it didn't matter. So, yeah, I'm happy.
I'm going to try one more question if your voice holds out. What can this do for England going forward? You've got a quarter-final in Miami against Norway to look forward to. What can the England fans look forward to now?
Well, just look at them here. Incredible. Unbelievable support. Speechless. I can't even talk, so...
Go and rest that voice, rest up. Thanks, Harry.
He literally can't talk. The thing is, this has been described by the three of you, by Guy Mowbray on commentary, as one of the great England performances, one of the great England results. And that captain's interview afterwards, is going to go down.
But that sums it up. That sums up the absolute madness that's ensued over the last couple of hours. Yeah. And what a man. He's left it all on the line. That's a sign of someone who's a leader, who's lived and breathed every single minute. I'm going to have to hold it together here, because whatever was has gone. Altitude did affect him in the end.
Yeah, well...
No, we hope Endo's OK.
Yeah. Well, look, that's the other point.
That's the best interview I've seen.
Listen, you're right. It was thoroughly entertaining from Harry Kane. What he did start off by talking about, though, was Jordan Henderson. He says he's absolutely fine, but he did fall over the advertising hoardings. That's what we think has happened, and it looked like he was getting some oxygen as he was being stretchered off the pitch. So we'll get an update on that. Harry Kane was saying he isn't too concerned at the moment about that injury, but obviously Harry Kane in the middle of absolute delight after that victory for England. We talked about how difficult it would have been for them, having gone down to 10 men in that game when Jarell Quansah was sent off and correctly sent off.
He got sent off for serious foul play, didn't he? I think he was unlucky because he actually got the ball, but it was the follow-through as well, so it was a little bit unlucky. Wayne's exactly right. It could have been something that cost him, but in the end, it didn't.
I just think now the FIFA have set a precedent in terms of the Balogun situation, and he gets a suspended, 1 year suspended sentence, if you like, on his red card. So now, what's the reason that the Quansah shouldn't get that?
Well, the argument would be that Balogun's was a debatable red card, and it wasn't rescinded. You're right.
Yeah,
and
they
that
haven't
would
taken
be the
the red cards
argument
away, so they're saying he's guilty of an offence, but it's now that's the question everyone's going to be asking if a player gets sent off.
It is, and it would be a fair question to ask. In terms of the penalty that England were awarded, any question at all about this decision? Was it about as clear-cut a penalty as you could imagine?
Long punt upfield. Don't even think Kane gets the knockdown, to be honest. Gordon's just so sharp. It's that little backward step from the goalkeeper, and he knows as soon as you go down rolling around pretending you're injured, you know you're in trouble. It's a tiny little back step, but it's Gordon who was excellent all night defensively and offensively. Look at that desire. He knows all he's got to do is get that little flick, beats him to the ball. Massive moment, especially as they just had that sucker punch of getting the red card. And look at this guy. Look at this guy. Massive moment. You do not say them. He's gone ridiculously early, flown at it. Brilliant penalty. What a leader. What a hero.
What a guy. 6 goals now?
Yeah.
6 goals,
in the
one
World Cup.
off the lead in the race for the Golden Boots. 3 players atop of that leaderboard. But Harry Kane will be chasing down Erling Haaland, Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe. As we said beforehand, it's going to be some race.
I think it's Mbappe and Kane. I believe that's the final, France v England. And yeah, hopefully Harry can take the golden boot and lead us to glory. So yeah, it will be fascinating.
So down to 10 men in the game, but England get the penalty and they go 3-1 up, and you think, all right, well they've maybe done enough, as we thought in the first half. England maybe have done enough in order to get through this game, and yet Mexico back in it, and it was a penalty that they took another look at, and we looked at the best side of Harry Kane. He was the player who conceded the penalty. Bit of discussion, and Alan Shearer not at all convinced that this is a penalty. What are your thoughts?
It's soft, isn't it? But he does kick his foot, so a penalty is probably the right decision. But not all contact is a penalty.
So I think Alan's point was he didn't feel that it was a clear and obvious error. And I know clear and obvious isn't in the wording anymore, but he said it wasn't a clear and obvious error enough to overturn it. That was his
Well, I think on reflection, Harry's only argument was that he felt that he got the ball. Obviously, in the moment, he would have felt like he got the ball, but I think it's very clear that he didn't there. So once he sees it again, I'm sure he'll be completely fine with that as a penalty. Yeah. And it'll be a whole lot more fine with it now. It hasn't actually cost us.
We seen one last season at Everton against Arsenal, which was not given, and VAR looked in and he didn't give it, but then he said later on it should have been a penalty. They got that wrong, so I think it was a penalty.
Especially benefiting from the Modric one in the Croatia game. I think it was very similar.
OK, and then so it's 3-2 at this stage, and then Thomas Tuchel makes substitutions that at the time when you were thinking was maybe a bit early to start protecting that lead.
I thought a little bit early to drop in and you know, concede we're not going to have the ball at all. And I think Mexico, as good as we defended, Mexico played into our hands here in terms of just putting balls in the box. And
I mean, that tells you what England were doing from 70 minutes onwards.
That's called the avocado defence.
No, but we defended the box brilliantly, but I think Mexico played into our hands in putting balls in the box and allowing us to head it out or Pickford to come and punch and take the pressure off his teammates. But I think if Mexico played a little bit more around the box and made it more difficult that way and made us try and get to the ball, it would have maybe been more difficult, and they lost patience, but we defended excellent.
Is that with the crowd way and getting on them? They looked like they lost all sense of what was going on, and like you say, played completely into England's. If England could have set up a game plan against them once they made those changes, that's exactly what they would have wanted.
Yeah.
But the subs made a difference, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought Byrne was outstanding. John Stones, the composure he showed as well. Even Spence in them one-on-one situations. I probably agree with you in terms of it felt like it was a little bit early, but in the end, it worked.
Yep.
And you can tell that chemistry with the team, no matter who plays, they're going to do a job for the team.
Mick, sorry, just a quick note on Jed Spence, obviously. He took a lot of heat from the last game. Was he injured? Was he not injured? That was an incredible effort, what he put in for his team. There.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because today's game was a little bit different to what we've seen, certainly in the grouping against DR Congo, and what Tuchel wanted him to do in terms of get up and down, and you see him on the sideline shouting him to go. It wasn't that sort of game today. It was, come on, keep your composure and deal with the wide areas, and he did that fantastically
Big character,
well today.
Though. I'm really pleased for him.
But even at the end here, the last 20 minutes, when what we've said with the three of us have pointed this out in the England games is when we open up defensively and we you know, we're running out of position and we're not covering the space, we look easy to play against. But even this shows with 10 men, when you're compact, even if you're deep, it's so difficult for the opposition to break you down. So I think moving forward with 11 players, we need to just get that balance right. But I'm going a bit negative here, but the performance, we have to keep that and take it into the next few games because we will need that.
You said before the game, communication. We did the analysis before. They communicated a lot better today, and they needed to. It felt like a big occasion, and they rose to it.
I just think it's interesting just to go back to the substitutions, because what Tuchel was praised for right at the start of the tournament against Croatia was making very positive, very attacking substitutions, whereas in this one he did the opposite. He made very defensive substitutions and put pretty much every player behind the ball and said, right, we're 3-2 up, we're down to 10 men. We cannot lose this. It was a different approach from what we've seen from him.
That was an old school English mentality.
Yeah.
You know, when you all look at each other and say, keep the spaces, stop the crosses, and when it comes in the box, bodies on the line. And fair play to him, because I think that was the right thing to do. It turned out in the end.
It was just that in-game management, wasn't it? It's knowing when to, against Croatia, freshen up, bring new wingers on, and then today it was about, OK, let's defend our box. And that is ultimately the difference. Southgate, we've mentioned, so did such a good job, but it's just these little details, and that could be the difference going forward.
10 goals for Jude Bellingham, now 7 of which have come at major tournaments, including 2 against Mexico. Here he is.
Well, Jude, huge congratulations. What an effort from every single player on the team. What are your thoughts on what you and your teammates have just done out there?
Hard to gather it all together, really. With 10 men, defending like how we defended our box, clinical like we were in their box, big pressure moments that, maybe in years gone by, especially me watching as a fan, as a little kid, probably England would have crumbled, and this team they stuck together until the last second. The players who came on, the players who started running themselves into the ground, putting the body between everything. That's what this team's about.
What was it like being in that atmosphere, and also then when you were seeing some of those refereeing decisions, the adversity that England were having to come up against? Yeah,
the atmosphere was by far the best I played against in international football. I think this country, as a footballing country, is just magnificent. The reception we had coming off the plane, although it was hostile, it was just a beautiful thing to see in terms of how passionate one country can be about their team. And in terms of the refereeing decisions, it is what it is. In the World Cup, they're human as well. As easy as it is to say now, they're human. We made a lot more than they did. No worries, we got through.
Your 2 goals were inside 98 seconds, which were undoubtedly important, but was that clearance at the end of the first half as well arguably just as important?
Yeah, it could have been. Obviously at 2-1 the game was still there, especially when they scored. It felt like the stadium almost collapsed, so it was probably an important clearance, just as important as the goals. But this win is far bigger than me. It's the players who came on, like I said. It's the supporters who have come to Mexico and probably had a difficult journey, paid hard-earned money. This is a team, a whole country's performance.
What can this confidence and belief do for England going into what looks like an exciting quarter-final against Norway?
Well, it's still one game at a time. At the end of the day, it's still just around a 16 win. The quarter-final now coming up against Norway, they pose a completely different threat. Some that we know really well, obviously some world-class players in there, so we'll have to be ready. But my God, if you can't enjoy a night like this just for one night, then I don't know what it's worth.
Just one quick word on your friend Jordan Henderson. We saw him in what looked like quite a lot of distress at the end. How is he?
He's in a bit of bother, but our medical team have got everything under control. Probably not best to give too much detail when I don't really know too much going on. But yeah, everyone was there to support him, and even that was a beautiful thing to see.
Thanks, Jude. Pleased you've got a voice, because Harry doesn't.
Yeah, I know, I've heard.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, we wish Jordan Henderson well in terms of his recovery. And as Jude Bellingham said, he's got the medical team with him and they've got everything in hand. Jude Bellingham certainly had everything in hand as far as the game is concerned. I think what was interesting to see in terms of his performance was... we can look at the defensive side maybe when we look at Mexico's goal, but he gets these 2 really important goals, Wayne.
This is so good, the movement and the ability to see it as it's gone out wide and delay his run into the penalty box, and then just being that explosive and that movement to get into the penalty box and getting the end of it was brilliant. And again here, obviously we win the ball back high up the pitch, and then as Joe said at half-time, you're expecting Harry Kane to shoot, and then just that desire to get in the box and on the end of things. And he's been fantastic this World Cup. He's been a leader. He's everything you want to a player from that position, helping out defensively. But there was debate whether he should start and should play in this World Cup. I think he's answered all them questions.
He's just an absolute superstar, isn't he? I mean, he always turns up, always gives 100%. Yeah, he's got that confidence that some might say is arrogance, but to be that type of player, you need that. That is the difference. And when he puts on that England shirt, he just seems to go up a level even more. I just love watching him. He's amazing.
And while he went, just when you talk about the confidence, while he went out of his way to praise the England fans, to talk about the feeling of togetherness, to talk about the unity within the squad, he did also say that when he was a kid, that this England, or an England team that he watched when he was a kid, would have crumbled. So just quick maths, 2018 when England reached the semi-finals, he'd have been 15. So I think he's talking about 2010 and 2014, and I didn't know if anybody wanted to say anything about that.
Well, we didn't crumble, we didn't turn off. We didn't do enough to crumble. So, yeah, no, listen, he's completely right, and you just hope. I think England's got a team, a togetherness, and I think the manager's been very bold with his squad selection, and I think they've got everything in place now to go all the way, I believe. So we hope that they don't crumble.
One of the players that you've all singled out as having had a particularly good game, the whole squad had a good game.